Not only did this cartoon shape and change the character of Superman into the one we know and love today, but the groundbreaking work and innovations that were created because of this cartoon makes it hands down one of the most influential and well-rounded superhero cartoons of our time. And with that, I present to you...
Look in the sky! Look! It's a bird! It's a plane! It's Superman!
These are a collection of 17 superhero animated film shorts that come in at 10 minutes each and were released between the 26th of September 1941 through to the 30th of July 1943. These shorts were written by several writers, which I will have listed here, as well as being directed by a number of directors as well. So I'll have them listed here as well. Due to the fact that the cartoons are in the public domain, there are too many DVD releases to mention in this video, but the first official release from Warner Home Video was a restored and remastered version that was released on the 28th of November 2006. The first 9 cartoons were released as part of a 4-disc special edition Superman the Movie set, and the 8 remaining cartoons were included on the 2-disc special edition of Superman 2 set. The first official Blu-ray set from Warner Brothers Home Entertainment was released on the 16th of May 2023 with no 4K as of this video.
Okay, you really need to upgrade to 4K.
The cartoon follows the adventures of Superman, an alien born on the doomed planet of Krypton, sent to Earth as an infant and raised by the Kents in the small town of Smallville. Clark Kent grows up with the extraordinary powers under Earth's yellow sun, becoming the superhero known as Superman. He moves to Metropolis and starts a dual life as journalist Clark Kent and stands as a symbol of truth, justice, and a better tomorrow.
This is a job for Superman.
So when it comes to the script and stories, these are just masterclasses in concise and impactful storytelling. Despite the limited duration of each short, the scripts skillfully balance the action and drama and character development to deliver this memorable narratives that have inspired animators and creators and fans alike to this day. One of the biggest strengths of the scripts is their ability to distill the essence of Superman's character into these real little bite-sized adventures, with each short having a sort of self-contained storyline that captures the heroic spirit of the Man of Steel by emphasizing his commitment to justice, compassion, and the protection of the innocent. Another great aspect of these cartoons was their pacing of the story elements, which were so well crafted, with each script really utilizing the limited time so efficiently to tell the viewer pretty much everything they needed to know to understand the story and enjoy it. All the scripts demonstrate a real keen understanding of visual storytelling that are so dynamic, yet manage to seamlessly transition between moments of intense action to quieter character-driven scenes. This balance contributes to the overall cinematic experience, keeping us, the audience, captivated from start to finish. The Fleischer shorts are a testament to the ingenuity and skill of their creators, as these stories not only encapsulate the timeless appeal of the Man of Steel, but they also serve as a benchmark for effective and efficient storytelling in animation. With that, I could give this no less than a 29 out of 30.
The hour has come.
These shorts were all original stories and none were any sort of direct adaptations of any specific comic book storylines. And as we see in the cartoons, all the villains were created for the show, like the mechanical monsters and the mad scientists, and God, even Hitler shows up, as opposed to the likes of, say, his usual fanfare of adversaries like Lex Luthor and Brainiac. Now, the animation is still, to this day, inspiring animators all over the world with some of what they created in these shorts in such detail has never really been replicated ever again, setting the bar of animation to heights that even Disney struggled to achieve. These shorts were also the first cartoons to use retroscope, which was created by Max Fleischer in this innovative animation technique where live action footage is actually traced frame by frame, and this is the technique and the main contributor to the lifelike look and dynamic movement of these characters in the shorts, enhancing the sort of overall visual appeal and realism to them. Now, one fun fact not a lot of people know as well, as myself before I did the research of this, is because of this cartoon, Superman's powers to fly was in these shorts first, because he was leaping around like he does in the comics in the cartoon, and the animators thought, this looks silly, so they asked, you know, if he could fly instead because it looks better on screen, and DC were like, yeah, sure, why not? And that's how Superman can fly.
I can fly! I can fly!
Now, if we look at the cast list here, not too many to talk about, as you do kind of notice there really is a lack of dialogue throughout these cartoons, and it does rely heavily on its visual storytelling. But the voice actors did put in a great performance, even with the limited dialogue they had. Now, Bud Collyer as Superman and Joan Alexander as Lois Lane were old hands at this, as they were, at the time, the voices of their retrospective characters on the Adventures of Superman radio series that was actually on the air at the same time, and hence why they were approached to do the voices, as the audience were familiar with their voices to the characters. And yet again, these shorts just knock it out of the park again with the great animation and the voice acting. So look, for that, I'm definitely going to give this a 19 out of 20.
You scare so easily.
Maybe she's right, but Superman hasn't fainted yet.
So if we look at the case, how good is that? This is just another stellar effort. I really love this one. That's such a great photo on the front. Photo, it's a drawing. But it's such a great, I love the look of it too. And it's kind of got that feel of that era. That's what I love about it. And the side, well, that's pretty good too. That kind of stands out on your shelf. And the back, you know, you get a couple of drawings and stuff like that. But it's really well put together and sort of really ties in with that aesthetic of the feel of when these cartoons came out. Now, if we look at the disc, it's not really anything too special, but at least it's color, at least it's in with the theme. And inside we get all the list of the cartoons and stuff. So that's always a good tick when they put that little bit of extra effort in it. And that's what I feel they've done with this Blu-ray set. They've really put the effort into it. It looks fantastic. They've done the effort. It's definitely worth the buy, that's for sure. And for that, that's why I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10.
And for Pete's sake, see if you two can work together for a change. Right, Chief?
So we get some special features. There are 3 on this, and they are Max Fleischer's Superman speeding towards tomorrow, First Flight, the Fleischer Superman series, and The Man, the Myth, Superman. So these are some great special features. The first 2 are about the cartoon, giving you some real interesting insights into the making of the cartoons and about the lasting legacy that they have. And the last one is more about the mythos of Superman and why he has lasted as long as he has as an icon in pop culture. They're all worth a watch, honestly, and I totally recommend you check them out if you love your featurettes like I do. Anyway, with that, I am definitely going to give this a high score, and that's where this one gets an 8 out of 10.
Come ahead, Miss Lane. You wouldn't want to miss this story, I'm sure.
So as I bring up the Rotten Tomatoes scorecard, as you can see, the critics came in at 0%, while the audience score came in at 0%. So with nothing there, of course, as we always do, we go to IMDb to the rescue. And as you can see, we have a score here of 7 out of 10. Now, IMDb has each cartoon listed as a separate movie and not as a collection as such. So what I've done here is I've averaged it out across the board at 7, as a couple were like 6.8, but then another couple were like 7.2. So when you look at it across the board, 7 I think was a pretty fair average for these classic cartoons. But I still think personally they could have been higher. But anyway, it is what it is, like I say. And with that, I'm going to round it out to, you guessed it, 7 out of 10.
Yeah, too bad, Lois. Looks like a great night for a murder or fire or something.
Well, this Blu-ray set is something I have been waiting for years, and to finally get a clean, crisp copy of these magnificent cartoons, it was such a pleasure to watch. They are just a thing of beauty on the screen, and let's face it, as many of us collectors know, there are so many terrible copies out there, as the cartoons have been in public domain for many years now, and those copies were never that great as they were taken off the old footage or copies of copies. But this Blu-ray release cleans them up and makes them look like they should have looked back in the day when they were first released. These cartoons are a must-watch for any fan of Superman, or God, just superheroes in general. But that does come with a small little caveat, as some of the later 8 cartoons were very, shall we say, pro-American World War II propaganda.
Dare you fill my head with such loathsome propaganda?
Now, this is because the Fleischer brothers were no longer able to work together, and the Fleischers were actually removed from the company, which Paramount at the time decided to rename the studio Famous Studios, and then they were the ones, this Famous Studios, were the ones who made the last 8 cartoons that do depict, shall we say, some ordinary racist overtones and stereotypes to some other races. But there are warnings at the front of each of the short, so you can decide whether you want to watch them or not. I have personally have never been a fan of the way they use these types of like superhero characters and things like that for these political uses as they did in this one, because let's face it, sometimes down the track these things will not age well at all.
In retrospect, it was a poor choice.
But with that aside, these cartoons are just visually stunning and are a masterclass in animation and storytelling. And I was going to give this a perfect score, but I'm marking it down just a little bit because of those last 8 propaganda cartoons. So with that, I still think it's a fair score. I'm going to give it a 17 out of 20.
I've never heard anything so absurd.
You know, from the look in his eyes, I'd almost believe he was in earnest.
Okay, first up is Collectibility, and of course, this is a 5. You must have this in your collection. This is like the OG cartoon of all superhero cartoons, and if anyone's even thinking of starting a collection, you need to have this in your collection. It is an absolute must-have for any collector. And as far as availability goes, well, it's a 1, because let's face it, with the public domain and as like I said, most of us collectors know there are 1,000 copies out there. You literally would trip over a dozen copies before you get to the one you actually want. So trust me, it will not be hard to find a copy in any format or any style. So look, your average price here, you are looking at somewhere between, because of how DVDs are, $1 to $30 for a DVD. And of course, for Blu-ray, you're looking at somewhere between the $18 to $42 mark. And of course, as we know, there is nothing for 4K HD as of this video. Now for the final score, we get a grand total of 89 out of 100. Well, there you have it. A great score for a groundbreaking cartoon that has inspired generations of animators and fans alike. Look, do yourself a favor and go out and get a copy of this Blu-ray set, because you will not be disappointed.
That's a wonderful story, Lois.
Thanks, Clark, but I owe it all to Superman.
Hey, so if you like this video, you want to see some more of my reviews, why don't you click that one there? Well, maybe you want to see some of my collection updates. Got you covered too. Click that one there. And of course, don't forget to always throw me a like, and don't forget to hit that subscription button on the way out. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.